Right now, you are living in the most comfortable moment in human history. You have heat in winter, food in your refrigerator, a doctor you can call, medicine that can target the chemistry of your own brain. And yet, depression rates have never been higher. Anxiety disorders affect nearly 1 billion people worldwide. Loneliness has been declared a global epidemic by the World Health Organization. So here is the question that should bother you. Why? Now imagine this. 50,000 years ago, somewhere on the plains of East Africa, a man wakes up before sunrise. He has no house, no insurance, no pharmacy. A lion killed someone in his group last week. Winter is coming and food is getting scarce. And yet, he gets up. He picks up his spear. He goes out with his brothers. He laughs around the fire that night. What did he know that we have forgotten? Today, we are going to find out. And the answer is not what you expect. Let's start with biology, because this is where the story gets fascinating. The human brain you are using right now, it is not a modern brain. It is an ancient one. It was shaped over millions of years, not for offices, not for social media, not for sitting in chairs for 8 hours. It was shaped for one purpose only: survival. And survival, for most of human history, meant movement. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer societies, groups like the Hadza people of Tanzania, whose lifestyle has changed very little in tens of thousands of years, found something remarkable. These people walk between 8 and 15 kilometers every single day. Not as exercise, not as a workout, just as life. They dig for tubers. They track animals. They carry children. They build shelters. Their bodies are in near constant, low-level motion from sunrise to sunset. Now here is what happens in your brain when you move your body. Every time your muscles contract and your heart rate rises, your brain releases a cocktail of chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and a protein called BDNF, which scientists have nicknamed Miracle Grow for the brain because it literally grows new brain cells, especially in the hippocampus, the region most damaged by chronic depression. This is not a coincidence. It is a design feature. Your brain evolved to interpret physical movement as a signal. I am alive. I am doing something. I am useful. I am surviving. When you stop moving, when you sit for hours, when you live a sedentary life, your brain interprets that silence differently. It registers it as the biological equivalent of hiding in a cave because something has gone catastrophically wrong outside. Your threat system activates. Your mood drops. You feel heavy, unmotivated, foggy. We call it depression. But evolutionarily speaking, your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The ancient human did not need a prescription for this. The act of living, the walking, the hunting, the building, the carrying, was the medicine itself. There is a study published in the journal JAMA Psychiatry that followed over 33,000 adults for 11 years. The conclusion was striking. Just 1 hour of physical activity per week, any kind of movement, was associated with preventing 12% of all future depression cases. 1 hour a week. Your ancient ancestors were getting that before breakfast. Now let's talk about something that modern psychology is only beginning to fully understand, but that ancient humans knew instinctively for hundreds of thousands of years. Humans are not built to be alone. I want you to think about what happens to a wolf separated from its pack, or a chimpanzee expelled from its troop. They don't just get sad. They become desperate, frantic. Their stress hormones skyrocket. Their immune system weakens. They often die, not from starvation or predators, but from the biological catastrophe of social isolation itself. We are not different. Neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman, in his research at UCLA, showed that social pain, the pain of rejection, loneliness, exclusion, activates the exact same neural circuits as physical pain. When you feel lonely, your brain is not speaking in metaphor. It is genuinely hurting, in the same way a broken bone hurts. For our ancient ancestors, being alone was not a lifestyle choice. It was a death sentence. A single human on the African savanna, without shelter, without fire, without a group to warn them of predators at night. Their survival odds were essentially zero. So the brain developed a powerful alarm system. If you are alone for too long, you will feel pain. Not to punish you, to motivate you to reconnect, to go back to the group, to belong. That alarm system is still inside you. In a prehistoric band of 20 to 150 people, you were never truly alone. You woke up surrounded by family. You hunted in groups. You prepared food together. You sat around the fire every night with people who knew your name, knew your story, depended on you, and were depended upon by you. Anthropologists studying remaining hunter-gatherer communities consistently report something that surprises Western observers. These communities have almost no concept of eating alone. Meals are social events, always. Children are raised by the whole group, not just parents. The elderly are not placed in separate facilities. They sit at the center of the group, sharing stories, transferring knowledge, holding cultural memory. Depression, as we understand it, the withdrawal, the isolation, the crushing hopelessness, would have been very difficult to sustain in that environment. Not because life was easier. Life was brutally hard. But because you were never left alone with your thoughts for very long. Someone would notice. Someone would sit with you. Someone would notice. Someone would sit with you. Someone would pull you back in. In an interview, anthropologist Daniel Everett, who lived with the Piraha people of the Amazon for decades, noted that he could not find a concept in their language for the kind of dark, prolonged despair that characterizes clinical depression. This was not because they had no suffering. It was because the structure of their lives made sustained isolation, the key ingredient of depression, nearly impossible. We have built the most connected world in history. 7 billion people with devices that can reach anyone, anywhere, instantly. And yet loneliness statistics suggest something has gone deeply wrong. The quantity of social contact has exploded. The quality has collapsed. There is a concept in environmental psychology called attention restoration theory. The idea is simple. The modern world demands what researchers call directed attention, the focused, effortful kind of concentration required to process emails, navigate traffic, follow complex instructions, multitask. This type of attention fatigues. It burns out. And when it burns out, you feel mentally exhausted in a way that sleep alone cannot fix. Nature, on the other hand, offers what researchers call soft fascination. The movement of clouds, the sound of water over rocks, the shifting patterns of sunlight through leaves. Your brain takes these in passively, no effort required. And in doing so, it recovers. Our ancestors lived inside this recovery environment constantly. They did not go to nature on weekends to recharge. They were in nature. Every waking hour was spent under open sky, in real light, surrounded by living systems, trees, animals, weather, seasons. Their nervous systems were calibrated to this world. Their cortisol rhythms, the stress hormones that rise and fall through the day, were synchronized with actual sunlight, not artificial lighting. Consider vitamin D. Your body produces it when ultraviolet light hits your skin. And vitamin D is not just about bones. Research increasingly shows that vitamin D plays a significant role in serotonin synthesis, the neurotransmitter most strongly associated with mood regulation. Low vitamin D levels are correlated with significantly higher rates of depression. Ancient humans spent most of their waking lives outdoors. Vitamin D deficiency was essentially unknown to them. Today, an estimated 1 billion people are deficient. There is also the microbiome connection, perhaps the most surprising piece of this puzzle. When our ancestors moved through the natural world, they were constantly in contact with soil. They dug with their hands. They ate food pulled directly from the ground, with trace amounts of natural bacteria on it. Modern research has identified specific soil bacteria, Mycobacterium vaccae, that appear to trigger serotonin production when they enter the human body. Essentially, playing in dirt made our ancestors feel good. Their mood was being quietly regulated by the living ecosystem around them. We have sanitized that relationship almost entirely out of existence. A 2019 study in the journal Scientific Reports found that people who spent at least 2 hours per week in natural environments reported significantly better health and well-being than those who did not. The effect was consistent regardless of age, income, or health status. 2 hours a week. Our ancestors were getting 2 hours before most of us have checked our first notification of the day. Here is something that might reframe everything you thought you knew about stress. Stress, by itself, is not the enemy. Your stress response, the surge of adrenaline and cortisol, the racing heart, the tunnel focus, is one of the most sophisticated survival mechanisms ever evolved. When a predator appeared, this system gave your ancestors superhuman speed and clarity. It has saved billions of lives over millions of years. But here is the critical word, acute. The stress our ancestors experienced was acute. Short, Intense. And then, over. The lion either caught you or it didn't. The storm either passed or it didn't. The conflict with the neighboring tribe resolved in hours or days. Then the threat was gone, and your nervous system could return to baseline. You could rest. You could laugh around the fire. Your cortisol levels dropped. Your body recovered. The stress most modern humans carry is something entirely different. It is chronic, slow, low-grade, never fully resolved. Your mortgage does not chase you at 40 miles per hour and then disappear. It follows you every day for decades. Your workplace conflict doesn't end in a clear winner and loser. It smolders for months. The social comparison that social media triggers, am I good enough? Am I successful enough? Do people respect me? Never reaches a conclusion. It refreshes every few minutes, forever. Your body cannot tell the difference between a lion and a passive-aggressive email from your boss. To your autonomic nervous system, stress is stress. Cortisol is cortisol. And when cortisol stays elevated, not for minutes, but for months and years, the consequences are severe. It damages the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for memory and emotional regulation. It suppresses the immune system. It disrupts sleep. It impairs the very neural circuits that would normally allow you to feel pleasure, motivation, and hope. This is the biology of chronic depression. Not weakness, not a character flaw. A biological system running the right program in the completely wrong environment. The ancient human's brain was designed for a world of acute stress, followed by genuine rest. We have placed that same brain in a world of endless, unresolvable, digital, social, financial, and existential pressure, and wondered why it is struggling to. So what do we do with all of this? The answer is not to abandon civilization and go live in the forest. But it is worth asking, very seriously, what our biology actually needs to function at its best. Because when you cut through the complexity, the evolutionary evidence points to something almost embarrassingly simple. Move your body. Every day. Not a marathon. Not a punishing workout. Just consistent, natural movement. The kind your ancestors did without thinking. Walk. Carry things. Use your muscles. Remind your brain that you are alive and capable. Go outside. Expose yourself to real sunlight, real air, real biological complexity. Not as a luxury, not as a reward, as a basic maintenance requirement for a nervous system that evolved in the open world. Invest in real relationships. Not followers. Not connections. People who know your name and would notice if you disappeared. A small group of genuinely trusted people is more powerful for mental health than any number of digital contacts. And finally, understand your stress differently. Acute stress, resolved stress, is not the enemy. Chase it. Compete. Take risks. Push your limits. But build in genuine recovery. Rest that is actually restful. Silence that is actually silent. Your nervous system was built to oscillate between challenge and recovery, not to sit in a permanent, medium-grade state of low-level alarm. Our brains were not engineered for the 21st century. They were engineered for the savannah, for the tribe, for the seasons, for the physical world. That is not a design flaw. That is a map. And sometimes, the most advanced thing you can do is look at that map and take a walk outside.